What's going on, people? It is Irish Connor HD here, you can call me Irish, and today you're going to be watching the first full game of Titanfall on my channel. So, yes, I am very late, but I am a broke poor man, so I basically had to wait until I got my next payment from YouTube, which couldn't have been, it could have been at any time, but luckily enough, it came in around the end of last month, the start of this month, and I was finally able to pick up Titanfall. So, having played it for the better part of a couple of days over the last week, the first few days I had a few issues with it, with the kind of frame rates and the performance and stuff, and then I realised that I am, of course, an absolute idiot, and I had the texture settings set to insane, so that explained it. But once I put them down, I put all the settings, to about medium, and I get a good 30, anywhere from 30 to 60 frames per second now, so it's all good. But yeah, so this is just the first game. It's Attrition on whatever this map is called. I can't remember, but it was from the beta, so I was pretty familiar with it, which probably explains the really good game that I have. But as you can see, I'm using the R101C carbine with that kind of wall hacks perk thing. But yeah, I just thought I'd talk really quickly about the game and what I think of it so far. So putting aside all the kind of performance issues that I had, actually getting into the game and actually going in and loading it up and getting into the menus and all, it's actually a really enjoyable experience. Like loading it up, like something like Battlefield, having to go into the browser and use Battlelog and all, I find it to be very clunky. To have everything laid out really nice and simply and clearly as well, like it's very clean, the whole layout for all the menus and stuff. I just think it's really nice. I love all the the sound assets that they use, like all the little clicks and clacks and all that, like when you're clicking on different things in the menus and all that. That kind of feedback and stuff like that. It's very enjoyable. The game's menus and stuff like that are a very enjoyable place to be. But the one thing then, first off, is like the whole campaign situation. Not a fan of it. Having to play the campaigns to unlock, or having to play the campaign to unlock the two other Titans. That was the first thing that really annoyed me, other than the performance, because it's like, okay, well, you don't have, we haven't got server browsers, which is another point altogether. It's 2014, you're making a game primarily on PC and the Xbox One, but it's a PC focused game, and you don't have server browsers. That was just nonsense to me. But yeah, because of the lack of server browsers, in my opinion, that is why we're suffering from the problem with the campaign in particular. The multiplayer is not too bad. You can get in games really fairly easily, but for the campaign, you're left sitting there for sometimes 10-15 minutes trying to find a game in the campaign, and that's pretty infuriating. But once you actually get in, I like the idea of you just play multiplayer game modes on the multiplayer maps, but there's just a story to it. I think if that idea was fleshed out a little bit more, I think that would be a really sick idea, actually. Because one of the things that people often say is that Titanfall is basically just to test the waters kind of thing. It's just, let's have a look and see what the kind of reaction is to this game. And Titanfall 2 was actually going to be where things get cleaned up and they actually improve on it. So I think if that is the case, that's probably a really good way to go, to be completely honest. To work on that more, because again, as I said, I like the base idea. I like the idea of everything's still multiplayer and you're still playing against real people, but there's just a story behind it. If they were to flesh that out more, I would definitely be behind that. So that's it. My thoughts on the campaign anyway. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? It's not particularly memorable, that's one thing. It's not exactly a great epic story, but as I said, that would be kind of something that they would address in the future version. For the multiplayer then, there's a lot of maps. I think, what was it, 14? And they're all very well designed. I love the fact that they are huge. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed this when you're playing it. The maps are actually really big, but because of the speed that you move in, and because you're doing all the free running and the wall hangs and the wall jumps and stuff like that, you move around them really quickly. And there's all these little nooks and crannies. I was explaining to a friend before, all the little nooks and crannies. If you go into just any random building, there, excuse me, there will always be this random set of rooms or random little hole that you can duck down and jink around in. It's crazy the amount of detail in the inside the actual buildings and in the interiors. And while I've only played it for about a week, and because there are so many maps, it's hard to get to get full knowledge of them and be able to spit them out. You could say Battlefield 4, you've got Lankang Dam or whatever that you could remember the names of the maps and you could point out specific parts of them fairly easily. But with Titanfall, I found that there's just so many that it's hard to remember. So I couldn't give specifics, but I love that they're so big, which is also a really good thing for the balance, because obviously they have to be big for these big huge Titans. Obviously you can't have tiny little maps, so I just think they did them. They're some of the best base game maps that I've played in a long time, probably since Battlefield 3 actually. Um, they're really well designed for both pilots and Titans, like, and they just, obviously that was the aim, as I said, but I think they just got it perfect, to be honest. But as for the weapons, then, for the pilot weapons, I would like to see more, because we have, like, when you think, I've only gotten up to I'm only level 30 something, so I only just unlocked the car SMG. I haven't even used it yet, so I haven't even gotten to the last of them. So they are spacing the unlocks out over a good like level span or whatever. But I think there could be more. Like, I think there could be. There's not that many, because you've got like the carbines. You've got the carbine. You've got the hemlock, which is just like it's a burst carbine basically, or a burst assault rifle, whatever you want to call it. Then you have the longbow DMR, and then you have the G2A4, I think it's called, which are both semi-automatic. Sorry. One of them's like a semi-auto rifle, battle rifle kind of thing, and the other's like a DMR sniper kind of thing. But they're very, very similar. I know the what's called match trigger on the G2A4 means that you can fire it as fast as you can click the trigger, which I personally use. But I don't know. So far, maybe like as I unlock the last couple of them, I can't even remember now. I think there's the Kraber sniper, sorry, and one other one. The shotgun seems to be a little overpowered. Actually, I was just thinking of that. The shotgun seems to be a little overpowered. But by and large, the balance seems to be fairly good. I know the smart pistol, I'm not a fan of it. Smart pistols, the satchel charge, I think they're called, and then I'm not a big fan of the shotgun, but I wouldn't call it overpowered. But like, there are some kind of slight balance issues that I found, but overall, if you're just, the weapons are good. I wish there would be more. As for the Titan loadouts, I still haven't got my way through all of them yet, but they seem to be fine. You can mix and match them in any kind of way, any kind of playstyle. You can go anti-infantry, anti-Titan, you can go with guns or explosives or grenade launchers or whatever it's called. You've got lots of different options. More attachments as well, actually. Speaking of that, you've got all these attachments, or all these options for the Titan actually, but for the pilots, you don't really have. You've got like 1 or 2 attachments per slot kind of thing. I think that could be expanded on further in the next game, or maybe in DLC, I don't know. But yeah, overall it's a very fun game to just jump in and play. Not if you're trying to play the campaign. It's a very frustrating experience, as I said, trying to get in and play and not have to wait for 15 minutes. That doesn't happen very often. More often than not, I'm waiting a long time to try and get into the campaign. But yeah, overall, if I don't feel like going into battle log and getting all that sussed out, if I would just want to jump in and shoot some things and jump around, it's a great game. The performance is good, and as you can see here, every now and again I do have a good game. So that's probably why I enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.